Ah, hey everyone.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning. And now we are live. We are live. Hey, good morning everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is really incredible. I always forget to do some things on here. So this is awesome. So Shannon today is in Facebook jail and was not allowed to
It's me and my
share.
jail bars.
I like it. I like it. That's hilarious. So Shannon's in Facebook jail. Weren't able to get this out to as many people as normal. She's got all the friends here.
Mark Zuckerberg's got a bone to pick with me right now.
Yeah, but we're Aaron's Estate Sales. We do estate sales in Metro Detroit, Michigan, and we do luxury estate sales to just helping the average family. But we specialize in doing high-end estate sales in the Metro Detroit area. And right now we have one going on, right?
Yep. Yeah, we've got a beautiful Poppleton Park in Birmingham estate sale. It's really cool. Like, Lady of the House loved chinoiserie and Asian in general.
Yeah.
The man of the house was into Remington and cowboys, and
Yeah.
then there's a bunch of something that they all agreed upon, which was cool vintage.
Yeah, it's all cool, straight out of the 50s and 60s. I love the carpet, and then that matches it's a deep burgundy red, and then the walls are blue,
Yeah.
seafoam green, if you will.
It's such a perfect color study in that house, and it was so
Yeah.
fun to do the photos too, because it felt like you were shooting Architectural Digest type of photos with very normal objects.
Yeah.
But the way that she had it all curated, it just everything popped.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And if you guys are watching this, and to help get Shannon out of Facebook jail, if you can press a like or love button, and then also feel free to share it with your friends, since she was not able to do
Yes,
so.
thank you guys. It takes a whole community.
It takes a village, and she was like, "Wow." There's the cutest little girl in our office today that's dressed as a princess to the nines.
Oh yeah, tiara, sunglasses,
That's awesome.
ball gown. It's awesome.
Right after this, I'm rushing home to go to a children's museum with my daughter. She is chomping at the bit, so we're gonna make this a great video to help you. And a few things first before we start on this idea of having massive goals is we're actually doing a free coaching session. A free 1 hour coaching session. If you go to estatesalecoaching.com and fill your information in, you will get the link for that next Saturday or Sunday, one of those days at 12 p.m. I'm going to do a coaching session, and this is going to be about dominating your marketplace. So if you are an estate sale company, if you have a business even,
Yeah.
you can use this data to dominate your marketplace and to grow your company. So this will be 1 hour on dominating your marketplace and how to do it.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited.
Because a lot of the stuff that we espouse in our training courses is big picture ideas and
Yeah.
How to implement. It's just we fine tune that for our own industry, but
Right.
these are concepts that work for every single industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Again, go to estatesalecoaching.com. And we just had this incredible launch of this brand, estatesalecoaching.com, at the estatesales.net conference this past weekend. And this past week, and it was incredible. The feedback's incredible. The people that we're going to be able to help and get to work with are truly incredible. So if you signed up with us, great. Thank you so much. And we really look forward to helping you grow your business. And then also, if you were thinking about it, or if you're still thinking about it, I know that a lot of people, and this is what happens, is they go to a conference, they get all excited, they go home and they get hit with all the stuff, that was hitting them before. They got all excited, and then they're back and they're like, man, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to grow my company? How am I going to do this? And that's what estatesalecoaching.com is there for, is to help you grow your business. And so that's what we're going to do. I had someone ask me why. Two things.
Yeah.
Why did I want to be a speaker at the conference? And then why do estatesalecoaching.com? And they kind of asked it in a way that was a little bit, you shouldn't, or why are you doing this? You're going to give people all the secrets, or you're going to tell them. I personally am coaching more people in my own area than any other area in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually want to help grow their businesses. I know what it's like being up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, day after day after day after day, figuring out how to get new business so that I can grow my company so that I can actually pay my bills or do things I want to do, or not let other people in my marketplace take my market share or things like that. And I've spent countless waking hours on that. And I want to help someone else that's going to do the same thing. They might even see that we're dominating our marketplace and be waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day to try to take some of our market share and whatnot. And that's fine. Like I would actually rather help that person succeed and do well than anything else, period. And that's what it amounts to, is the helping others. I think if we can help hundreds of companies across the nation, like that would be a bigger accomplishment for me than growing my own business. And even though we are growing my own business, but that would mean that's just a personal, life goal, is to help other people. So that's the why. If you were wondering why we did estatesalecoaching.com, why we're doing this, that's what we're doing. Hey, Eli Stone, Dallas Estate Sellers. Hey, how are you? You guys are awesome too, man. They came in to dominate that conference with 4 or 5, people from their group walking into that thing ready to kill it. That was awesome. And one other note is I was standing in my closet earlier today and I was like, man, I woke up thinking I was going to put a suit on and dress really nice. Yeah. And then I just saw this hoodie calling me and I was like, man, I really should dress up, but I'm going to a children's museum after this. I'm going to hang out with my family, so I thought I'd be comfortable. So that's why you see me like this. It's casual Sundays around here. I didn't send Shannon the note.
So my blazer is hanging out outside and I'm wearing heels. But I like wearing heels, and it's one of those things like when you dress to impress, or you dress in a way that you feel yourself. You walk with a little bit extra bounce in your step, and
absolutely,
you carry yourself a little different. I make more eye contact.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, and also on that, I mean, I think that with what we did yesterday and the things that we've started to implement from this conference that we went to, and it's just already changed 180 degrees. Like, all you need is one idea. The reason I went to that conference was to find one idea. I came back with 50. But I was really like, if I would have gotten one idea that took us from 1.5 to 2.5 this year, I got that the first night before the conference even started. And everything else was just going to help dominate the market share.
And our ability to learn on this past week has just been exponential. It's been amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you to everyone who took the time to speak with us. And we learned from you as you learned from us. The average estate sale company that we sat down with estatesalecoaching.com was very surprising to me. I thought they were going to be around $600,000, 6 to 8 is what I thought we'd be able to help, more. Like that's what I thought we'd run into, is people in $600,000, $800,000 worth of revenue in a year. And really the people that we sat down with were $200,000 to $400,000 a year that they were stuck. They couldn't go, they were doing everything that they could. And I remember being at that point. I felt that point at $800,000 a year where I was like, I can't do any more work. I am pushing up against barriers. And we figured out what those barriers were and obviously surpassed and blew the lid off of it. But other people are still dealing with that. So really quick, one more thing. If you go to estatesalecoaching.com, sign up. We will send you the link next Saturday or Sunday at 12 p.m. for our free coaching session on dominating your marketplace. So definitely do not miss that. That is going to go over we are going to open our book to you on what we do to dominate our marketplace in Metro Detroit. And I don't care if you're in Metro Detroit. I don't care if you're in Australia, and I've never met a company from Australia, a estate sale company. But I'm just saying, across the board, we're here to help. I don't care if you're doing $5 million in revenue or you're just starting your company and you haven't done your first estate sale yet, or if you own a different business completely, we want to help you. So definitely take advantage of that free webinar that we're going to do next weekend, and let's get into it. Yeah. So what's today's topic?
Crazy big goals.
Yeah, massive goals. I think it's, hey, Daniel Sanders. Oh, man. Hey. I'm going to say some shout outs. Daniel is an opinion leader to me and definitely a mentor and one of my coaches. And so I definitely, if you do not know Daniel Sanders in the DC area, he is definitely someone to get to know and become friends with. So the estatesalecoaching.com was definitely brought out of the ability, like my personal help from others, like other people that had helped me when I was just starting. And Daniel Sanders is definitely one of those people who I have the utmost respect for. So definitely, say, go like him on Facebook, go like 4 Sales in DC. So thank you, Daniel. So today we're talking about big, massive, huge goals and why it matters to have unreasonable, undoable, unattainable goals and what that means. And so what does that mean to you when I say, hey, Shannon, we're doing 3 sales a week right now. I want to go to 10. What was your first thought when we had that conversation?
Well, so in knowing you for several years, I come to expect it a little bit.
All right.
So I can roll with it, but it's like, okay, that's crazy. But if we can do 1, and then we can do 3. If we can do 3, we can do 5. We can do 5. We can do 8. 8 does 10.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're at 20 sales.
Yeah.
And so it's it is one of those things where you're like, whoa, and your eyes kind of bug, and then you start to realize that that's a fun game to play.
Yeah.
It's much better than the game of worrying about
a few sales.
Few sales, or the game of how do I keep my people employed.
Yeah.
I like the game of let's grow this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. And so as a business owner or somebody that's growing anything, here's what happens is we're chugging along, we're doing our work, we have all these challenges, all these issues, we're trying to pay for staff, we're trying to keep payroll going, we're trying to keep advertising going, the people that we pay, we're trying to keep them motivated, keep them working, keep them producing, and it's like you're playing this little game and trying to grow. And you're being hit with a lot of small problems, a lot of problems that seem big because they're small. Mm-hmm. The second that you change your mind to, let's give an example of 10 sales a week. So right now we're doing 2, then we did 3, and so now we're doing 3. And it's like, okay, how to do 4,
Yeah.
And so, all right, you got to do this, you got to do these actions to do 4, and you don't change much, but whatever, you just, you realign some people, you redo some advertising, you change a few things. When you say, let's do 10 estate sales a week, all of a sudden your mind has to shift and you start thinking with scale. And so on that note, when you say, all right, we got to do 10 sales a week, now, what does that look like for our supplies? What does that look like for our people? What does that look like for the way we operate? How do we manage that many people? What does that look like for our organizational system? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're thinking big enough that you're working out the bigger problems. All of a sudden, your advertising budget used to cost you a lot doing 2 to 3 sales, but to go to 10, you're going to have to spend a ton more. So now it's not like, hey, can we pay for this little advertising? It's like, hey, throw it.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the money, throw it at the advertising and do, grow. And so it changes the mindset, I think, is what it does. Is it changes your ideas to scale. When before you weren't even thinking about all of those things you would have to do as you grow because you're just going in little steps. But if you think of, all right, what does this look like when we're doing $10 million? What does it look like when it's a $20 million estate sale company? Mm-hmm. And no one's ever done that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and Daniel Sanders can probably say on this because he runs one of the largest estate sale companies in the United States that no one has done, I would even say 10 million. No one has been doing a $10 million estate sale company, let alone a $20 million estate sale company. I would say that everyone's sitting, the real big players are sitting right there in the $3 to $5 million range on estate sales. But no one's shifted the mindset. All right, what does it look like doing 20? Mm-hmm. Or what does it look like doing 50?
And what does it take to get to that place?
Exactly. Daniel says you'll need more equipment, more manpower, scheduling, advertising, management, etc. And those are the things you don't think about when you have little goals. When you have, all right, I just need to do 1 more sale a week. Or hey, what if we did 1 more a weekend or 1 more a month or something like that? You don't think of like, oh, damn, we need to hire 50 people. Or, oh, dang, we need 4 trailers doing these actions and we need somebody running that. You just don't think of that when you're thinking of small goals. So that would be the main thing, the first thing I would say on why to set massive goals is that reason alone.
I think a good piggyback on that too is when you're setting massive goals, have no limits and no stops. Like that's part of, I think part of the thing that I really enjoy with working with Aaron is the fact that both he and I have the whole there's no excuse. Like, we've got a crazy lofty idea, how do we get there? Not let's go through all the reasons why it couldn't work.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you stop thinking of all the things that didn't work in the past because you set something out in the future to attain. It's like my daughter with the she has this calendar. She's 5 years old, and she put it right next to my bed on the wall, and it has not. She made me put on there all of the fun things that we're going to do. She literally had me put on there when we're going to Florida, when we're going to Legoland, when we're going to Peppa Pig, when we're going to the aquarium, and now she has a future. You put a future there for her, something to work towards. So even when you're selling like a conference, for example, nobody wants to buy tickets for a conference that's happening in 3 years. But if you give them something to look forward to now, like, listen, your people are going to have this to look forward to, and then expand upon, it just opens up the whole mindset when you can look forward to something and when you have a future put out there. When you have no future, like, what does one sale a month, extra month, do for you?
I just get the idea of riding a stationary bike.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just that we're in the place right now that we want to build this up to absolutely no limit. There's plenty of people that say sky's the limit.
So yeah, there's definitely a point where maybe it sells to another company, or maybe it goes across the nation, but it still never stops growing. I think that when you're in business, like the average person in business is like the plumber who's doing all the work themselves, or even the estate sale company, they have them and one other person, or them and a couple helpers when they need it, and that company is going to not exist at some point. Whether it's them retiring, whether it's getting too overburdened, it's not a company. It's not going to create on its own and live past you. And that's a huge thing for me in growing this to 20 million, or whatever it does look like in 5 or 10 years. My mindset changes every day. Yesterday I was thinking, let's do 5 sales, and really I know that the goal is 10 sales a week. And so we sit here drawing out the plans and actually executing on them to be able to do that. So we want to know what some of your goals are.
Yes.
Stephanie just joined. What's up, my friend?
Hey, girl.
Carly is on here. Allison is on here.
Sweet.
Allie is on here. Sandy, Rahul, Beth. Man, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to hear what your goals are, and we want to know what you want to achieve, because that's what we're here to do, is really show you, that you can achieve it. So back when I first met even Daniel Sanders, that was 4 or 5 years ago, and I was just a kid. I'm still just a kid in relative terms, but I was doing a few sales. I was getting, some speed.
Yeah.
But my mind I wasn't thinking big enough. And I think if you look back on anything that you've ever done, you might think like I wasn't thinking at large enough scale at that time. I don't want to be sitting here when I'm 60 or 70 thinking, damn, I could have done more. I think that's what drives me.
So mine is kind of the opposite, or not really the opposite, but it's the other side of it. Because I've always been, I like to think that I've got a fantastical mind.
Yeah.
Like I like to daydream. I like to play out scenarios, but I would always tell myself that there was some reason why not to. Are you really sure that you can do this, Shannon? Are you really is this really the thing you want to focus in? Someone out there is going to tell you no.
Yeah.
This is going to be a reason why it can't be done.
Yeah.
So the conceptualization part wasn't my problem. It wasn't my main issue. It was the fact that it was like having the confidence and knowing I'm a freaking beast.
Sure.
Like I know that now at 35.
Right.
I wish I'd known that.
So what happened that made you know that? What were those actions that ended up happening in your life that made you because everyone I think has the same experience. You're a kid, and you can create the world around you, and you can really imagine and dream up whatever you want to. And at some point, obviously, that gets beaten out of you or smashed out of you, and then you're sitting there as an adult, just getting through the day-to-day lifestyle. Oh, that's what people out there is happening to them. What changed? Was it working somewhere? Was it a certain thing? Was it a idea or a person or a system?
I think there were a couple different scenarios that definitely made me realize my strength and my power. And then also having a business partner, having someone that you work well, now we're business partners, but I was always
Right.
working for Aaron. And it's, being challenged and also being told that someone knows you can do it.
Yeah.
That's a big part of
absolutely.
it, because I've worked for other companies before where I've been challenged but not empowered at the same token.
Sure.
And I think that's a big part of it.
I think that's a huge mistake that I've made in the past as well, and that a lot of business owners make, is to not empower their people. Right now, we have people running sales, and today, even while we speak, and they're empowered to be able to handle and make those decisions. We don't have to micromanage them. I don't have to worry that if the client walks in, that they're going to say something stupid or mess that deal up. And I think that it's like, for me, on that same end, it was about, I guess, me getting out of school at an early age helped not have any limitations, because I think school trains you into being a worker or into being a part of society. That's the get the job, do the work, go home, be happy, and whatever else. So I never had that experience. I was going to tell a little bit of my story. If we didn't do this video together, I was going to tell my story and how it relates to everyone out there and everyone that started their own business. And I know you guys have your own stories too, but a lot of it's similar. When I talk to business owners, a lot of the stories are similar. They went through some tough things. They had some issues. They overcame those. They grew, and then they took responsibility for those things. I had the great opportunity at 14, and it was like 15, to go travel the United States and volunteer. And I volunteered for many years, just all, for the whole time. And I would do homeschooling and things like that, but I volunteered my time for zero pay and worked 80 hours a week. And so coming back, I really had no mindset of like not doing that or not working that hard. But I remember one time I don't even know how old this was. I was probably like 17, 18 when Hurricane Katrina happened, and my crew came down and we had 150 volunteers that I ran out of an airplane hangar in Mississippi, in Gulfport, Mississippi, the CB base. There was Red Cross there was us there, and then other organizations, and I ran that whole team. But we were there before all of those people. It was basically the National Guard had just came in to help, with those efforts, and then we came in. The Red Cross wasn't there. No other organization, FEMA wasn't there yet. And we were helping the National Guard dig people out of rubble in different actions like this, and have that opportunity of control to actually organize a group of people towards success and towards achievement, and then also have such great wins. Helping people at such a young age was huge for me. If you're watching this and you were on that crew, or if you know anybody, there's this one guy that I worked with that managed like the base. He would stay there and he would do all the laundering. He would ride around the CB base and help like just manage all those things. And I never have been able to find him after that. And he was amazing, so I want to find him and connect with him. But what would happen is, so all of the zoo animals from New Orleans Zoo were shipped to the CB base. So there was dolphin containers inside of airplane hangars and all sorts of, it was crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, and so he would send me videos of all these things he got to do while helping, with the efforts while we were out there, delivering food and doing things to clean up. It was completely flattened. And so having that experience and being able to help people control, grow, and control a group of people really helped me go into business and know that, like, all right, I'm never going to stop working. Like my 80 hours a week, now I'm able to do some with my family and things like that, but I still have that drive and that determination to make things work, because we are capable of anything. So when you have big goals, you have to just do them. And yeah, I did get a lot of, even this past week, like, why are you doing so much? There's too many there's too many pots in the fire.
Irons in the fire.
Irons in the fire. And I'm like, dude, at some point, all of these things are going to happen and they're all going to work out. I'm 31 years old. I have 30, 40 more years to figure all these things out. Yes, we want a real estate arm of our company. Yes, estatesalecoaching.com is going to help hundreds of businesses. Yes, Aaron's Estate Sales is going to grow to 10 sales a week. Yes, And I'm not stressed about any of those. I don't have any like feeling of stress or anything. We can just go forward. And I want other people to have that same type of reaction to growth, is the ability to execute properly and achieve their goals. And so that's what estate sale coaching is for, is hopefully so that we can help other people.
Yeah.
Allison says, tell your story anyways. I appreciate you. You know, it's definitely been interesting growing an estate sale company over the past 8 years, because I never thought this is what we would be doing.
Yeah.
And I never thought like each year we'd help over 200, 300 families with different situations that they're going through. And it's very, very similar, I guess, to the volunteer work that I used to do, and people are going through challenges and they need someone to help come in and help them with that.
Yeah.
So that's what we do expertly, you know.
Is helping.
Yeah, it's helping.
And we do it, we help with the, like, you know, we got this big old trailer behind us. We help with liquidating
I
estates.
don't know which way.
And now we're helping other estate sale companies
Yeah.
with that as well. Like, it's all about service.
Yeah.
It's really all it comes down to is service. Service to our clients, customers,
Yeah.
other companies, like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then also thinking big enough, thinking we want you guys, if you take anything away from anything that we've ever done, is that I hope you know that anything is possible and that you can think bigger, and I can think bigger. And I'm definitely thinking, like at this moment, I feel like I'm still thinking too small. And so, but you can't execute, you can't do anything unless you think a little bit bigger than what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you have a goal, my wife has a goal, you know, to go up the, you know, the corporate ladder in her company or whatever. I'm just kidding, but she does want to be an executive, you know, of the company that she works for, and right now she's an engineer. And so for her to attain that goal, she has to think as big as possible and to be able to outthink. Like everyone else is like, oh, I don't want to take calls on Sundays, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And it's just like, do anything and everything to show that you are number one in your field and that you will execute at a higher level than everyone else. Even when we were coming back, you know, driving back, going through our list of all the things we want to implement from this conference, we were talking yesterday about one of those advertising points that we're going to do to start dominating even more our marketplace. And we were like, yeah, we're going to be able to do this at 10x levels. We're not just going to just dabble in a little bit. I get people telling me sometimes that we should try things out before we do them. And I'm like, no, we're just going to do it. Like, it's just going to work. We're going to help people.
Yeah.
And that's how, you know, we should be operating. And money's not a consideration. Maybe that's where they come into, like, their scaredness or things like that. But it's really not a consideration in my mind because the goal's big enough. If we hit the goal, then it's all worth doing.
Yeah, I'm okay with making this motion.
Yeah.
For this come back in. Or even because sometimes it's just even exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and that's one of the things we talk about in our segment, Dominating Your Marketplace, is that if no one knows you, no one can buy from you. No one can, you know, purchase your service. No one can do anything. And so what would you spend to have everyone know you? The answer should be more money than you have. The answer should be more money than you can conjure up. The answer should be more money than you can loan. And that might be extreme, but seriously, like if you want people to purchase your service, you have to be known. And some people, you see real estate agents playing that very well. To some, there's 5 real estate agents in the area that play that very well. And because you see the billboards and you see that's millions of dollars in advertising to get known. And that's super important. And you can name 5 of them on your hand.
The Hammer.
All right, so we were driving back. I'll let her tell you about the Hammer.
So we're driving back. We were in Kentucky. I want to say it was Ponte Villay or something like that. It's one of those sections of Kentucky where like every single city is named some sort of French name. And we're taking our first break of the evening. Got to get gas. We notice we're looking around. We're like, okay, there's this guy, Isaacs and Isaacs. Law firm.
You're gonna promote him.
Sure.
Cool.
He still is not giving me a call back to tell me why his nickname is.
She started texting him. She was like, hey, she went on the website. This advertising was so good while we were driving that she was like, let me go on this website. Oh, there's a chat function. And it was 11 o'clock at night. We're driving and this chat person was working perfectly. Like whatever answering service was perfectly professional. And I'm like, this is how you want to run your business. You want to have access to your clients at any time. It doesn't matter what it is. So yeah, you hire that service, and that's what Daniel was just saying. I'll let you tell the rest, because Daniel was just saying sometimes growth is through partnerships, like having, not necessarily getting into the trash hauling business, but having a trash hauling partner.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of our points in the 5 ways to double your income is through those partnerships in our coaching session. So he's absolutely right. But yeah, so she texts the hammer.
Because we're sitting at these intersections, and literally, he's got one on the northwest, he's got one on the southwest, he's got one north. Like, you cannot get away from the hammer.
Yeah.
Now, they don't go into how a hammer helps you in legal situations, but
just in case, just in case you lose, or you gotta handle someone before the case. I guess maybe that might be it. I don't know.
But it was amazing to see what this person had spent on their advertising and the en masse in your face.
Yeah.
And it got to the point that, now we're reaching out to them.
Yeah.
And we're getting communication back in, because that man has spent already so much on those billboards that he's not going to let that pipeline trickle or funnel down at all.
Yeah,
he's going to get you. If it's 11:30 at night,
like,
a couple Michiganders driving through North Kentucky want to know why you're called the Hammer. Your service is going to say, well, let me take down your name and number, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Has not gotten back to me yet, though.
Whatever.
Come on, Hammer.
I think it's beautiful. I think that a lot of people also mistake the one last note I would leave them with on advertising, and this is what we're actually going over. If you sign up, if you go to statesalecoaching.com, put your name and your data down, we're going to send you a link next
to the Hammer.
Saturday. No, we're not going to send you a link to the Hammer. We're going to send you a link next Saturday or Sunday at 12 p.m. I don't know why I haven't just chosen, but because I think I need to see what sales are going on and what my family has planned. But one of those time periods, we're going to do a seminar on dominating your marketplace. It's an hour-long free coaching session. Go ahead and sign up. And one other point on the advertising, you see all those billboards, is that what a lot of people don't get is they want to make some money and then do some advertising, but it's completely flip-flopped on the actual like lineup or the actual cycle that you're supposed to go through in business. The first thing is promote. The first thing, I won't go through all the different actions, but the first thing is promote.
Yeah.
Not let's make some money so that we can promote. It's let's promote, period. By any means necessary, promote. And then you get the jobs, and then you produce the product, and then and then you go along that line. But in any situation where you are struggling, or you're trying to grow something and it's not growing, or you decide to start a business, promote is the first action. I remember I started the estate sale company. This was many years ago. I was professional in antiques. I knew all about antiques and collectibles. I wanted to start an estate sale company. The first thing I did, I was literally sitting there, and the first thing I did was I created a website and a name. I got my business license, and then I put money behind Google AdWords in that. And there was no one else at that time using Google AdWords, many eons ago and lifetimes ago. And we had our first job with 24 hours of doing that. So the first action was promote. Not the first action was save up some money so that we can promote.
Yeah.
Like that cost me probably $50. And really, you don't even have to spend that money. I could have went out and communicated with people for free in other ends.
Yeah, you just have to, like Aaron said before, people have to know you to be able to buy from you. People have to know you to use your services.
Yeah, exactly. And so that first client that we had has become a lifelong friend. She works at a retailer that we're always going to, so I see her quite often. That very first client, it was her mom's house. Her mom had passed, and she had an estate to liquidate, and so we were able to help her. And so I love being able to know my very first client to my last client, and be able to have that connection with them of the service and help that we were able to deliver.
Oh yeah.
But that was from promoting. So that's the first thing I would say. That's the first thing that we'll go over in this seminar. And that's all I got. I am going to, do you have anything else you want to say about large, massive, unattainable, unrealistic, crazy idea, people will shoot you down, people will suppress those ideas, goals?
Don't let them.
Yeah.
Don't let them. That's the big thing. I was told for so long when I was younger, oh, don't burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
I love burning my candle at both ends.
No, you're not a candle. I'm
not a candle. I'm a freaking
crazy
beast of a woman. I can do this. I can do anything. And it's like, if I insert some doubt in there. Oh no, if I work too hard, this will happen. Then guess what? This will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Manifestation is real. Intention is real. You got to take all the stops off. That's the big one.
That's a really good point. I think that's huge. And I even, from your peers, I've been ridiculed by my peers. I've been talked down to. I've been, talked about amongst them. And I've also been supported by the people that are doing more than me. So that's one of the other things I would say is that you'll never be talked down to by somebody who's doing more than you, only people who are doing less. And that's where I would leave it, because I think that that's what I've experienced. And we, our company is growing. We did almost $1.5 million last year in revenue. And this January has been our best January we've ever had. And this January, we're up 115% over last January. So we're going to kill it this year. We definitely are going to, I won't tell you where we're going, but it's massive. It's massive goals. So my wife just texted me. She said, let's go, let's go, let's go. So yeah, Daniel says, good thing you did a good job since you see your first client regularly. For real.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and she, we should get her on here. We should get her on here and have her a part of the show. I think would be really cool because that is what it's about. You have to execute.
Yeah.
And when you see these big people in the news and that are frauds and things like that, they promise something and then they didn't execute it. That's where ethics comes in. When you promise that you're going to do something, you have to deliver on it.
Yeah.
You have to have those moral standards to deliver, and not just deliver a little bit. You have to deliver in abundance, because that's the only way that you will be able to grow your business is delivering in abundance, going above and beyond, pushing it out into the marketplace. And I forget what I was just on before I got distracted, but we're gonna leave it at that, everybody.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get this trailer out of here. I don't know which way I gotta go for you guys to see this trailer. I don't even have a place to park it right now. I could park it at the next sale next week. What's our next sales?
We got a Southfield, Lathrop.
Is it Southfield?
I think it is.
I don't know.
We'll figure that out.
That's in 2 weeks. So next week we have Westland. And we have that massive Bloomfield Hills house.
That's where you're putting that trailer.
Yeah, that's
Get that crispy sign out front of that crispy house.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that house. We came back from the conference and I signed we signed 3 contracts the first day we were at the conference. 3 contracts came in, and then the day I got home, I went on appointments after 0 sleep and signed a bunch more deals. And so we signed this one. It's Bloomfield Hills. It's next weekend. It's an amazing, massive house. It's a gated community, so we'll make sure that works out for you to get in.
Yes.
Beautiful furnishings, everything. The pictures are up online right now on aaronsestatesales.com. Check that out. We look forward to seeing you. We also have Westland next week. And that one, we're actually finalizing that deal on Monday. And then we're also going to add some work. I don't think we're doing the Southfield one, but we're going to try to add that work onto the end of next week because we have this incredible vintage Southfield thing that we're working on right now. Also, tomorrow, Monday, we're finalizing the contract for a massive auction that Block Auction House is doing for a pretty large university in the area who received a donation of art that we're going to help liquidate. So me and Hands of Time Estate Sales are both working on that, together. If you don't know who Hands of Time Estate Sales are, they're really good friends of ours, so you should go check them out.
Definitely.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Daniel Sanders. Hey, Alex, how are you? I haven't seen you at an estate sale in forever. I hope you make it. Congratulations, on everything. Rob Chandler joined. Hey, dude. Julie Harris was on here.
Hey,
Megan
Julie.
Lewis, Stephanie, Carol. I might have said that already. All of you amazing people. Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Again, estatesalecoaching.com. Fill out the thing. Next weekend, 12 p.m., one of the days, we are going to do an amazing seminar. I'm going to set this up so that we can have a whiteboard. Maybe I'll set it up for that board right there.
They put in a new whiteboard in the back.
Really?
A huge one.
Really?
Yes. And actually, Dan told me, he's like, I put in a new whiteboard for you.
Thank you.
Thank
oh my
you,
gosh.
Dan.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. That's literally what I'm going to do.
We'll get another one.
I needed a big whiteboard. I need something
It's the
that
same
size.
it's the same one as we had at
Awesome.
the warehouse, yeah.
Awesome. I'm so excited to use the heck out of that thing.
Yes.
And we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much. And my computer just died, so we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Peace, love, cash flow. Let's get this. Have a great weekend. Have a great
Seriously.
week. Rethink about the goals. Another thing about goals, write them down every day. rethink about where you want to be, and don't let any consideration into your mind about it. Like, really just say, all right, this is what I want. Let's do this.
Yeah, this is the steps it's going to take.
And my daughter wants me to go to a children's museum right now, so I'm going to let her